Pokemon Detective Pikachu. This movie is obviously a live-action Pokemon adapted film, video game to movie. I know there's been some animated animation series and all that stuff, but it's the video game in essence is what Pokemon really is. And this movie stars Ryan Reynolds, Justice Smith, Catherine Newton. I got there eventually. It is directed by Robert Lederman, and it basically follows the story of a son that loses his father and he has to go to Ryan City, which is a city where Pokemon and humans live kind of harmoniously. And he basically meets Pikachu, played by Ryan Reynolds, who is a detective and wants to help him figure out what happened to his dad. Before I continue with this review, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Ace of Davies. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like as well. And make sure to subscribe. Keep coming back to the reviews. You want to. But let's get into the review. Now, this movie is basically exactly what you'd expect it to be. It is a fun, light-hearted time. And it was decent. It was a fun time. Let's start off with some positives. I think the Pokemon CG which actually looked good. I was very surprised by that because it's such a hard thing to do. Now, was it flawless? No. There were scenes where you look and you go, those humans next to Pokemon, they look like they're CG, like they look like someone's drawn them in. And it does. That's hard to avoid because that's what Pokemon in essence are. But there are also Pokemon that they added, features, 3D features to, like the way their skin looks, or the way their fur sits, or scales, or stuff like that makes them look realistic. And I think that was a step that they really needed to do throughout every character they could, because there was characters that you're like, yes, I know it's a Pokemon, and yes, I know it's not real, but it doesn't look even the slightest real. But then other characters we go, this looks legit. Like I'd have no problem with this creature in real life walking around because it's not a human creature, it's not an animal, it's kind of, this weird thing that doesn't exist. So I understand that, but for the most part the CG was pretty good and I was impressed with that. Now, the other thing is pretty much what we wanted it to be, and that's just lighthearted, that's fun, that's entertaining. And throughout this film it's entertaining. You can sit there and you have a good time and you can laugh and you can watch this story and cool Pokemons unveil and have a good time with it. Now, the acting, let's get into that. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. That's what we've known him to become. He's Deadpool, Green Lantern. He brings the similar things to these characters that you like. It's just Ryan Reynolds, but this is the same thing. It's just Deadpool without swearing, and that's a positive and a negative. I think it's positive to this movie and what this movie was, which was Detective Pikachu. I think it's a mad positive. You need to know, you need to love Pikachu, and I think they clicked on that well. But as a Pokemon movie, I don't think he was necessarily the right choice, which I'll get into a bit later because I want to talk about it as a whole film. I want to talk about that. But the other acting, Justice Smith was decent. He wasn't, I'm not raving about him, but I wasn't complaining about it either. And Catherine Newton, who I know from Supernatural, 3 Billboards, she's building up more roles, blockers, and she's been pretty good. This was a step backwards for her, and I don't think that's her fault necessarily. I don't know if it was the writing or the way, maybe it was the way she approached it, but it kind of seemed at times almost animation like, and I get it because it is a video game based off an animation series, but I feel like they added too much of that character, especially the opening scene where you meet Catherine Newton's character, who I don't know the name of. It seems very like you would understand what I mean when you watch that scene. It does seem very kind of out of place in a way, but that was, casting was there, but I can understand iffy parts of it. Now, there was some flaws in this film. It's not perfect by any means, not close to perfect. I think the problem lies in the movie itself. The movie wanted to be Pokemon Detective Pikachu, so they very much made a movie about a detective, and you make a movie about an investigation, which I don't think is necessarily the most interesting story you can follow. And they committed to the detective part, which is fine by me, but they didn't give you much layers of the movie itself being detective and then also Pokemon world. I feel like they half-assed both. They want to commit to a cool Pokemon story where we see people capturing Pokemon, collecting Pokemon, training Pokemon, fighting Pokemon. Fucking awesome. But they sprinkled those in throughout this film of Detective Pikachu, and I feel like I just wanted to see more of that stuff and not as much as the investigator's story, because I think that's a letdown. As a mystery movie, in essence, it's not at all phenomenal. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense to you guys, I feel like the whole Ryan Reynolds casting would be poor in a Pokemon film, but they didn't do a Pokemon film, they did a detective film. And that detective film made Ryan Reynolds a good choice, but saying that, I don't think the choice to do a detective movie was the right choice in essence. I definitely had fun with this movie. I definitely enjoyed myself with this movie, but I would have liked extra layers on an actual Pokemon film rather than just a detective film. This is not a flawless movie. This is not a totally flawed movie. It is a great time where you can take your kids and you're not even embarrassed to be there because your kids want to see it. You can enjoy it as a family. You can enjoy it with your friends. Even if you're not a huge Pokemon fan, I think being a Pokemon fan, which I am, I'm not a fanatic. I'm not a lover. I don't rave and know every Pokemon. But I played that game, multiple games when I was younger, and I really much enjoyed them. I think you definitely get something out of this movie, and I'm going to give Pokemon Detective Pikachu a C+. Alright guys, make sure to let me know below, down there in the comments, what you thought of Pokemon Detective Pikachu, if you have seen it. I know my guy Ninja Movies and Let's Talk Movies both saw it. My guys there, they bumped into me in the cinemas and we had didn't really get to talk much before the movie came on because they walked in right as the movie was starting. We were already sitting there, so we didn't get to chat much, but we talked a little bit after it. They did a vlog on there, so check out both those videos, Let's Talk Movies and Ninja Movies. They're in my little channel strip. But let me know what you thought. Make sure you do subscribe, comment, like it, whatever. What do you think? And I'm struggling to get that out. What do you think of my new setup? I thought I changed up a little bit. The colors kind of a lot of glimmer, a lot of sharp glare off some of the Blu-rays I've been noticing in my later videos. So I thought I'd give the whole new set a chance, see how it goes for my reviews. Obviously, I'll be doing my Blu-ray videos with my Blu-ray collection, but let me know what you think about the new setup. I'm going to stop talking now. Make sure you do subscribe, follow me on Twitter, but of course, guys, have a good one.